Over the last decade, I've built my agency to over $7 million per year. But to be honest, going from 0 to 7 figures was an absolute grind. I was working 60 plus hours per week, struggling to land and retain high quality clients, and constantly reinventing the wheel with every new client that we brought on. But since then, I found a much easier way to build a $1 million a year agency, and I have proof. You can check out all the case studies on this YouTube channel and on our website of over 150 marketing agencies that we've helped scale to 7 figures and beyond using this new system. So let me break down how it works and how you can get your agency to $1 million per year faster and with less stress than you thought possible. The mistake most agencies make under 7 figures is being a generalist agency, trying to work with anybody that's willing to pay, offering every service under the sun: website, SEO, pay-per-click, social media, email marketing. Oh, you want database reactivation? We do it all, right? Charging too little with lots of one-off project-based work and constantly reinventing the wheel for every client that comes in. Doing all the work yourself because nobody can do it as well as you can. Managing clients reactively, only talking when they have a problem. Relying solely on referrals and word of mouth for growth. The easier way. I'm going to show you the exact 5 pillars we use to scale to 7 figures with ease. Pillar number 1 is your model. When it comes to the model, the very first fundamental thing is niche. Picking one specific vertical completely changed our business from being a struggling web design and hosting company trying to sell to everybody that can ever break 10K to us focusing on the plumbing and HVAC industry, growing to 7 figures in the first year, multiple 7 figures thereafter, and now having over $7 million per year in that one niche. That shift was massively transformative for us in our business. When you specialize, prospects stop seeing you as a vendor and start seeing you as the expert. You get ridiculously good at delivering results because you're not starting from scratch every single time. The second component of your model is choosing to only sell monthly recurring revenue. If you want to grow to $1 million, you have to say no to project work and one-off fees. Everything should be on a monthly recurring. Set your minimum at $1,500 per month. We started at $1,000, but now charge $3,500 plus with additional for ad spend. Get your clients on auto bill so that they sign up. They're going to get charged every single month until they cancel. And we've seen clients like Tony Ricketts go from $30,000 to over $200,000 a month in recurring by eliminating project work. Now, Tony runs an agency that works with landscape businesses. And if we reverse back 6 years, 5 years ago, he was really good with websites and he was doing these custom projects. And he kind of like as an additional benefit was doing some SEO and some paid search and some tracking. He would have about $30,000 in custom project work at the beginning of the month, like where he would sell that, and then he would get a small recurring fee. So he had like $30,000 in project work every month and like $30,000 in recurring, but he was stuck there. It was really hard for him to grow beyond that level because almost all his capacity went into serving those $30,000 projects. We had a tough conversation. We looked at the numbers and convinced him, all right, let's kill the project work. Let's focus on retainer-based business. And Tony will tell you that was one of the key decisions that he made. It's a hard decision because he gave up that $30,000 hit at the beginning, kind of went backwards for a short term, but it accelerated him to over $250,000 in monthly recurring revenue today. The other big component of your model is what you choose to sell and how you choose to package your programming. Don't sell piecemeal services. Create a custom growth plan for your niche. And we sell outcomes, more sales, not services, website, SEO, Google Ads. Engineer your package to solve specific problems in your specific niche. Our online marketing complete includes website, SEO, paid search, database reactivation, marketing, automation, and tracking. But it's the complete suite of services they need to triple their sales over the next 12 to 24 months by getting their internet marketing right. When you offer a more comprehensive solution, you can charge more and your clients stick around longer because you've got enough strategies in play to expect an outcome, and they don't look at you just as a single service provider. They don't look at you as just the Facebook ads guy or just the SEO gal. They look at you as their growth partner in taking their business to the next level. That's the model. Before we get into the client acquisition side of the equation, I want to say real quickly, if you're an agency owner serious about growing to 7 figures, we're currently offering agency acceleration sessions where we'll sit with you one-on-one, review kind of your current agency situation, and craft a game plan that you can use to scale to the next level. If you'd like to take us up on that, just click the link in the description and book your spot. Let's get back to the video. Pillar 2 is client acquisition and how we get clients to come to us. I want to make sure that if you're serious about going to 7 figures, you're going to have to put a proactive, not reactive, waiting for a referral, hoping somebody finds you, a proactive client acquisition strategy in place. You'll need 15 to 20 qualified strategy sessions per month to hit 7 figures. You can start with cold outreach, connecting with at least 5 prospects within your niche daily. This is like literally doing manual one-to-one outreach, picking up the phone, connecting on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, sending personal messages, doing the manual effort that gets you connections with real prospects in your niche. Don't just reach out and say, hey, I'd like to schedule time. Like, lead with value. I created this guide for plumbing companies on how to get ranked for the most important keywords. Would you like me to send it over to you? Build a list of everyone in your targeted industry and systematically work through it. Remember, it's not about spamming. It's about starting the relationship so that you can shift to nurture. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so we want to get that list of prospects within the niche. We want to introduce ourselves to them and build those relationships. From there, we have to build some level of authority. So prospect look at us as the go-to expert. We do this by doing one topical webinar per month that your niche cares about. We've been doing this every single month for years and years and years. It's a great way to force yourself to create content, to force yourself to be thinking as a thought leader. And every time you do a webinar, you got a reason to email your database. You've got a reason to show up live and create content, and then you've got content to actually load up and syndicate, and then you've got a reason to follow up afterwards. So one webinar per month, one podcast per month, and so that's simply finding your clients or the people within the industry that are doing great things and interviewing them either on Restream or on Riverside or on Zoom, and you hit record, you ask them questions, it creates great content that's very relevant to your industry. Publish your book. Ours is How to Triple Your Sales by Getting Your Internet Marketing Right. When you are the published author within your space, people look at you as an expert, and you can use a book in so many ways. You can use it as a lead magnet, you can hand it out at trade shows, you can mail it out to your dream prospects, you can use it to get speaking opportunities, and that's the next strategy, is find opportunities to get involved in the industry association, whatever niche you happen to participate in, and look for opportunities to add value. If you can be the person on the front of the stage sharing, or the person on the webinar conducting the workshop for the industry, that positions you as an expert and will get clients to come to you as opposed to you having to hard sell them. Just some strategies that you can put in place that will make your closing ratios so much higher. It's so much easier to convert the leads that you actually do speak with. From a marketing and sales process perspective, we want to put an appointment funnel in place that's going to warm up your prospects. So they enter your funnel, they see your value, they decide to schedule in. Rather than just add it to the calendar page, we want to warm them up by sharing examples of clients we've worked with, by getting them to do some type of thought work prior to the meeting. So they're meeting with you excited about that appointment. And we do that through a really nice, tight appointment funnel process. Run targeted ads on Facebook and Google Ads specific to your niche. Use a consultative sales approach in your sales calls. Understand their problems before you shoot to solution. Why this is a now thing, what goals they're trying to accomplish, and then shift to showing them, hey, look, I've done some due diligence. I've looked at your website. I've looked at your online rankings. Here's the problem. Here's how we can help. We want to be shooting for a 30% or higher close ratio on our strategy sessions. Use these marketing strategies. They work. Our clients, Jen and Kelsey Outram, work in the auto repair industry. They run Lyft auto repair marketing. We're able to scale from $10,000 to over $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue. They've executed this outreach masterfully, right? From doing the cold outreach to doing the monthly webinars to doing the monthly podcast to really immersing themselves in the industry. And they'll say like those shifts, in addition to having the published book, were the catalyst to really accelerate their growth. Pillar 3 is client results, right? We have to make sure we're delivering predictable, measurable results for our clients. The foundation of retention is actually getting clients a tangible, measurable result. Focus on what the clients care about. They don't care about the minutia. They don't care about the keywords and all of that stuff. What they care about is leads, sales, and revenue growth. Make sure that you're delivering that. Engineer quick wins within the first 30 days. This can be done by launching a database reactivation, setting up a Google Ads campaign, getting them involved in the process early, doing a review blast early. Lots of things you can do in the first 30 days while your program's being built out, while the strategies are being implemented. We obsess about our clients' performance because that's the best way to really retain, right? Because it creates a flywheel where not only do the clients stick around, but they're happy to speak highly of you. They're happy to refer you to others. Also within deliveries, we got to make sure that we systematize that delivery. Document every aspect of the process in SOPs or playbooks. Use a project management tool like ClickUp to map out your tasks and the deadlines. Create templates for everything. Templates or frameworks, right? I don't technically like to use templated websites, but if we're building websites for hundreds and hundreds of plumbing and HVAC companies, a framework of like, where should the phone number be? Where should the call to action be? Where should the online scheduling be? You can frame that in and still have customization. And so we want to create templates for our website, our ads, our reporting, our communication. With this, you'll be able to deliver consistent results without you personally having to do it. Pillar number 4 then becomes client retention. And client retention boils down to a couple of key things. First, world-class onboarding. The first 30 days determines whether a client's going to be with you for years. So really dial in that onboarding process. What happens immediately after the client gives you their credit card authorization? What do they receive in the mail? What's the experience that they have? You need to create a seamless process for gathering the usernames, passwords, send physical gift to make a strong first impression. We do this by mailing a welcome basket. We shifted what we do over the years. Used to be a big welcome basket, from like Harry and David. Today, what we like to do is immediately send Sherry's Berries because we can get it delivered typically the same day or the next day. And it's just a really nice way to seal the relationship. We also send a custom welcome box, which is a branded box with goodies in it and program overview. And your clients don't get nearly enough physical stuff from you. They're going to hear from you via email. They're going to see you on Zoom. They're going to get communication from you. Get something physical in their hands as well. Set proper expectations about the timeline. What are you actually going to do? When's the kickoff call going to happen? When's the initial design comp going to be ready? When's the website going to be launched? How long should it take for them to start to see rankings? How long should it start to take for them to start getting leads and sales? What is it that you need them to do in order to be successful? Set those proper expectations. If they were sold one thing and you don't reset those expectations to make sure they're clear, this is the reality of what's going to happen. The more you can match what they're expecting and what you actually do, the better your retention is going to be. Over communicate during the onboarding process. A lot of agencies will sign up the client, they'll get their usernames, passwords, and they'll go to work. And that's great, right? We got to go to work in order to make it rain, but we'll do a bunch of little items, right? We'll set up the website, we'll set up directories, we'll claim their Google, listing, we'll set up all of these tools, but the client doesn't see any of it. And that feels like radio silence. And so we want to make sure that as those things are getting done, we're looping the client in, we're letting them know what's going on. And so do that stuff and you're going to have an amazing onboarding experience. From there is the ongoing proactive communication. You need to meet with your clients on a monthly basis to review the results and discuss next steps. Focus those meetings on the metrics that matter. How much should we spend? What's our cost per lead? What's our return on investment? Not the vanity metrics like here's the keywords you rank for, here's how much traffic you got. Really make it as clear for them that they spent money, they got a result, and what you did helped to make them money, right? The clearer you can make that, the better. The number one reason clients are gonna leave isn't bad results, it's actually perceived indifference. Make them feel like you care, because you do, right? Be sure that you're checking in. Be sure that you're showing the results. Also be sure to pay attention. Did they have a baby? Did somebody in the family pass? Did they get some type of accolade? As those life change events happen, if you can recognize that by sending a gift, that goes a long way in showing that you see them not just as a client, but you really see them as a person and somebody you want to have a relationship with, that you care about the results for. The other really critical aspect of retention is going to be as you scale from 10 clients to 50 clients to 100 clients, you can't be the person managing the relationship. And so for every 20 to 25 clients, you're going to want to have a dedicated account manager. This is going to ensure that you can continue to scale while keeping the service levels high. Without good retention, you're going to take one step forward and one step back, and nobody wants that. Pillar number 5 is scaling. And this is really about building your team. It starts with an accountability chart. Get really clear on what the functions are within your business. When you run an agency, you've got sales and marketing, then you've got operations, you've got account management, then you've got customer support, and there's little areas and things between that. Like within operations, you've got website development, content, SEO, pay-per-click. Make sure that you've got that accountability mapped out. And you might see it today as like, well, I'm sitting in all those seats. But the clearer you are about the roles and the fact that your responsibility as the owner of this business isn't to do this stuff, but to put the people and the systems in place so that it can get done, the better, right? So just make that a commitment. We're going to put it on an accountability chart. The first hire you probably want to hire for is operations and delivery, right? If you're still doing the websites, doing the SEO, doing the paid search, writing campaigns, there's no way you're gonna scale. We gotta remove ourselves from operations by putting a key operations leader in place that can run with that. Second is gonna be account managers that can handle those client relationships. Usually it's gonna be one at probably like 15 to 20 accounts, but then it's gonna be an additional account manager for every 20 or so, 20 to 25 accounts that are gonna check in with the clients, that are going to answer the questions, that are gonna keep them engaged and keep them on board. Next is gonna be a personal assistant or marketing assistant that handles the administrative tasks. So if you're still booking travel, if you're still checking your own emails, if you're still doing the administrative work, it's gonna eat your headspace. It's not gonna let you be able to focus on higher level tasks. And so you definitely wanna remove yourself and get that marketing assistant level person in place. And then finally, you're gonna wanna put a salesperson to take over the sales process. And what's beautiful is when you can remove yourself from these roles, you create a business, not just a job, right? You've got all the people in place where lead comes in, salesperson takes the call, right? And sells the person. Then it gets kicked over the fence to operations, which is actually gonna do the work. They're gonna build the website, they're gonna do the SEO, they're gonna deliver the program that you've sold. And then the account management team is checking in with that client, they're keeping them engaged, and they're managing the relationship. At that point, you step up to being the CEO of the business, and you can guide, direct, look at the vision, and make sure that they have what they need to serve the clients so the company can continue to grow. When it comes to scale, build your team and then build your system. So we like to implement EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System, create detailed playbooks for the marketing, the sales, onboarding, delivery, build a leadership team that can make decisions without you. This is a big shift when you start to get to 7 figures where you don't even need to be the manager. Ideally, you've got a leadership team over account management, over sales, over operations that are making decisions, that are holding deadlines, that are innovating what has to happen within the company. One of the key things you can do is find people that really play at the things you have to work at. This was a big realization for me because I felt like, you know what, I've got this great agency and we know how to do the websites and we know how to do the SEO, and we know how to create the copy. How could I ever give this to somebody else? And there were things that I just felt like I had to do, but when you realize there are people that just love to do that thing, there are people that love to build websites and it lights them up and it gives them energy, and realize that there's people for every role that you need within your organization. Finally, when it comes to scale is financial management. I'm a big believer that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. There's no point building a 7-figure or multiple 7-figure business if there's no profitability there. We want to target a 30% net for a healthy agency. You have to know your numbers so that you can make decisions on profitability, not just top line growth. Really make sure to implement something like profit first, where you're taking the money out of the account strategically, and make sure that you know what your gross margin is. How much does it actually cost to deliver these services, and what's your actual profitability per client? When you get those numbers dialed in and you track your overhead, you keep track of your financials, you can have a healthy growing business with healthy profitability as well. And there you have it, our full system for scaling a marketing agency to 7 figures. I hope you can see how this makes the $1 million a year milestone a lot more achievable. I've given you the overview of this framework today, but implementing this is what really matters. And I know that doing it alone is much easier said than done. And that's why I want to offer you a free one-on-one agency acceleration session with us. On this call, my team and I will do a deep dive into your agency, identify the biggest growth opportunities, and craft a custom game plan to take your agency to the next level. Plus, we'll see if we can help you implement to scale even faster. Just click the first link in the description, book your call, and I'll look forward to connecting with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.